Yo, man, y'all seen what just went down in San Antonio, Texas. Y'all just seen what went down in San Antonio, Texas. Um, I don't know why, but for some reason I felt like there would be something going on with the scorecards. For like the majority of that fight, after the third round, you didn't really see Eastside Cruz do much of nothing against Lamont Roach Jr., but hold and foul and hold and miss and hold and throw low blows and hold and miss. But for some reason, these judges didn't see it that way. For some reason, one of those judges felt like Esau Cruz won 8 of the 12 rounds that y'all just saw. Let me run that again. One of those judges thought that Esau Cruz won 8 of the 12 rounds that y'all just saw. And regardless of, what you see on TV or in comparison to what they see on ringside or at ringside, looking up, looking to the corners, looking on the far end of the other side for depending on which judge you gotta, that's at that position. There is no way that you would say that over 6 rounds that Esau Cruz had the cleaner work. It said that when you apply as official, you get a gun and a ski mask. Yeah, man. Hey, what's going on, Elijah? Yeah, Lamont pulled that win out, but one judge felt like Esau Cruz won 8 of those 12 rounds. You get the knockdown scored in the third round, okay. You get the point taken away from excessive holding. That takes out that one point that you had. So so put it this way: the three scorecards y'all seen, Lamont Roach Jr. didn't win one of them, not one. Run it by y'all again, okay? 115, 111 means that 1 point, it would be 116, 112 in favor of Esau Cruz. And the other two scorecards were 113, 113. So that's 114, 114, 6 rounds to 6. Like, you mean to tell me that Esau Cruz won 6 rounds? I ain't even see where he won 6. I don't even see where he won 5. And for some people, they could say that he didn't even win 4. The thing is, they probably gave him round 1. And yeah, I'll probably get the scorecards here a little bit later on down the line. I was, slated to be there, but I couldn't make it out there to San Antonio. And, to be honest with you, I'm probably kind of glad that I didn't make it, even though there was a lot of people that, were out there that probably could have, got some content for you. You've seen Errol Spence Jr. out there for Frank Martin. You've seen that Gary Russell Jr. and Gary Antoine Russell is out there. Gary Antoine, well, all the Russells, they all went out there. All the Russells went out there. You know what I mean? But yeah, this was absolutely insane to see that you get a fighter in Lamont Roach Jr. that had, hey, that's 2 great performances from Lamont Roach Jr. this year. 2. And all he can get is a draw out of it. When they had what is it, Brian Campbell out there in the ring immediately after having that draw. If I was Lamont Roach Jr., I'm being honest with you. If I was Lamont Roach Jr., I don't care if I have to not be in any TGB involved stuff or not. And I'm being real with you. I would not even say anything. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You just had the performance of your life, as some people would say, at the Barclays Center against Tank Davis. You had a knockdown that should have been scored by many, should have been scored in that fight. Wasn't counted. And then the fight itself ended up as a draw. Now you have this fight here against Isaac Cruz, a fighter that is much less polished than Tank Davis, much more sloppier in the ring, missed a whole lot of punches over the course of 12 rounds, catching him with the left hook for the majority of the second half of the fight. He pretty much dominated with the lead left hook. And you couldn't get credit for that. And the thing about it is that you can't really make much out of this because look, you ended up having to fight at lightweight against Tank Davis. You were there at super featherweight as the WBA super featherweight champion. So you face Tank Davis, and that's a draw. You still had the status of champion because at the time the interim champion that you were supposed to face had a fight and ended up losing to Jazza Dickens, right? Then you have this fight, and the instant you step in the ring, you lose that WBA Super Featherweight Championship. And you have the performance that you had. You weren't necessarily in any trouble. There wasn't a point outside of the knockdown, and even with that, that was more about him losing his balance. So you know what I mean? So, and people talk about, oh, well, if he didn't get knocked down or he didn't have the score, it shouldn't have even gotten to that point. It shouldn't have gotten to that point. Those scores shouldn't have been that bad. Man, I'm waiting on this email, man. I'm waiting on this email. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. I'm gonna move around with this thing. I'm waiting on this email. Shout out to Sam Jackson out there for Swanson Communications. So shout out to all of those folks out there from Swanson Communications. They definitely do their thing. People call it like PBC or whatever it is, but yeah, I mean, and my phone blowing up because of the whole thing with the scorecards. It was absolutely crazy. You know what I mean? So I'm like, come on, man. This was just bad all around the board. And the thing is, how is it that you have a performance like Lamont Roach had and not really get credit for it? How is it that I'm trying to check the emails here on my other phone or something like that? You feel me? And see if they got the thing for what it is, but they haven't said it. I just got the thing in reference to like the crowd and all that. He said Roach lost. He didn't win that fight only with his left hand. Well, he did more than that. He did more than that. Much more than that. Like, what are you getting? Okay, here's my question. Right? He had more than the left hand. He was cleaner with the combinations. He was there with Isaac Cruz on the inside, whether it was slipping on the inside or working on the inside with Isaac Cruz. He landed combinations. He made Isaac Cruz miss. And a number of times when Isaac Cruz missed, he missed. He clearly missed. When Roach missed, it wasn't like he completely missed. He would at least try to hit something. He hit like a arm or hit a shoulder or something like that. So my thing is there's no way that you could score 6 rounds, at minimum 6 rounds in favor of Isaac Cruz. You can't. He didn't have the cleaner work. He didn't really control the pace of the fight. Like if you saying that him going like this and trying to bull in and come on, nah. Mm-mm. And then there was even one point, like what was that, around like round 8 or round 9, where Isaac Cruz was just backing up and not really doing anything. He was moving back. So who was really controlling the pace of the fight? It was Lamont Roach. You know what I mean? He said, I was wrong on my pick with Fulton versus Shock. Shock did outclass him. Hey, my thing was, going into Wednesday, Thursday, and stuff like that, going into that fight, I was still undecided as to who was going to win the fight. You know, I was going to, it was a toss up. When I kind of heard about Stephen Fulton not making weight for 130, I was like, nah, that's a problem. That's a problem. And then they had the whole thing there with him weighing in at 132. I was like, oh, 132? Nah, he had to like really. I felt like he had to get down to make it to 132. And then once that, I was like, nah, he's not gonna really be at the form that he needs to be against Shockey Foster. Shockey Foster went in there. He weighed in at the contracted weight at the time for the super featherweight title. And now, now you got to end up paying the WBC for an interim lightweight championship when you're the WBC super featherweight. You see the WBC's got. Hey, they got, man. You know what? I'm gonna skip that part right now until I do the whole thing with the podcast later on. It's supposed to be 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, but man, hey, shout out to Shockey Foster. Pretty much had a master class. Like, Fulton really didn't have an answer for anything that Shockey was doing, particularly when Shockey flipped to being a southpaw. And yeah, he had like a reach advantage, but the thing was, it was like it was listed at like 72 to 70, but it looked like it was 74 to 70 because there was a lot of times that Stephen Fulton really couldn't reach Shockey Foster. You know what I mean? But yeah, back to this thing here, man. I'm waiting on this thing for the email because listen, there's no way. There is no way. I'm sorry. Like I will go through like the fight again. My thing is that when you pretty much like controlling the distance and you didn't really give Isaac Cruz too much of an advantage on the inside. And when Isaac Cruz was on the inside, a lot of that stuff was holding. Like you can't give a fighter credit for holding. You can't give a fighter credit for holding, wrestling, throwing low shots, questionable shots on the belt line, low blows that are on the opposite end of the referee and that type of stuff. You can't give him credit for that. The thing is, I felt like Roach was controlling the pace of the fight after, I would say, round 5. Like from round 5 up to round 12, that was all Lamont Roach. I didn't see where you could have Isaac Cruz winning what, one round, if that, one round. So you mean to tell me from round 5 to round 12 that Isaac Cruz won about 2 or 3 rounds? Nah. Like, and this was a joint that we kind of seen with Isaac Cruz back in, what was that, July 29, 2023, when he faced Giovanni Cabrera. You saw the same type of mannerisms there from Isaac Cruz. Holding, wrestling, low blows, leading with the head, all that type of stuff. You seen that right in this particular fight. And I kind of seen that happening after round 4 because you just seen, Roach just be patient, not really being overly, not really overexerting himself for most of the fight, not really, giving Isaac Cruz much of a chance to take the momentum away or take the pace away from him over the course of the fight. And yet, what you seen there was just something that I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Y'all got to do better than that when it comes to the scoring. Like, I mean, you could, have the whole thing with Mauro Ronaldo and who did they have? Mares or was it Charles or whatever it is? Yeah, they robbed Lamont. They robbed him. Like you don't get. I mean, people talk about give A for effort. No, Steph, what's good? Steph, what's good, man? You don't. you don't just have an effort like that and then have it taken away from you by the judges. And you know what? The thing about it is some people kind of felt like, with it being in San Antonio, that you could have had something like that. L Dub, what's happening with you? What's happening, L Dub? But I'm like this, man. You pretty much like control the pace of the fight. You see where Isaac Cruz is pretty much at all times. It's not like, Isaac Cruz is, kind of like bobbing, around or whatever it is. Hey, yo, what's up, man? It's 86 boxing in the building, man. What's happening with you? You feel me? I know you. I mean, I know you seen that fight 86, man. You seen what Lamont Roach Jr. was doing. He was, landing that left hook, left 1-2s and all that type of stuff, man. Um, says Roach knows he lost the fight. No, the fuck he don't. Oh no, y'all lucky that I ain't even tuning into the post-fight press conference right now, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna be happening next week. Y'all know what's gonna end up happening next week. I'm gonna make sure that I get something there, whatever it is, pause or whatnot. That I am at. I don't know which gym it's going to be, but I'm going to be at that gym when they get back. Guaranteed. Y'all know it. You know it. I know it. The whole world knows it. I'm going to be at that gym once they get back. I'm going to, have them, like I said, they're going to say what they say in the post-fight presser, right? And then tomorrow, Monday, I send out the text, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Because there, like I said, there's no way that you could score 6 rounds. 6 rounds for Isaac Cruz, much less 8. Now remember, once again, 8 rounds from a judge. Come on. Tune in to the press he's part of that hospital. For what? There's no reason for him to be at the hospital. Come on. Roach run but complicated things early with the knockdown wasn't a good look. Hey, that happens in boxing. You know what happens in boxing? You get off balance sometimes when you try to go punch for punch, hook for hook. Now, even with that, like I said, even with that knockdown, the fight wasn't that close. Like I said, right when the fight was done, I said 8 rounds to 4. At least 8 rounds to 4 in favor of Lamont Roach. But no, one judge said 8 rounds to 4 in favor of Isaac Cruz. No way. Had him 115, 113. Roach was there. There were some string rounds though. So 115, 113 for Lamont Roach. So you probably could have had it like what I say, 114, 112, since a point, point and a point. Yeah, favoritism towards Cruz. Listen, like I said, man, I'm waiting. Come on, where's Sam Jackson with these stats and scorecards? Like I got it here for this: Ramos versus Mosley, Lara versus Gonzalez, and Fulton versus Foster. Come on, Sam Jackson, where's this thing for Cruz versus Roach? I want to see this scorecard. I want to be on here live when you send this email and put in the scorecards and the stats and all that type of stuff. Is y'all seen the punch stats? I know that we get sometimes on the lives. You have my guy out here, the box academic, that really doesn't go much for CompuBox stats. But listen, like you seen that Lamont Roach Jr. kind of like outlanded him overall, had the advantage with the jabs. You see what was happening with the left hooks. It's like my thing is across the board. If you see the cleaner work coming from from one fighter, and it's been like that almost consistently through the whole fight, you got to be able to score that in favor of him. Said is he hurt his hand in the 5th round. How did he win the fight? Again, how did Isaac Cruz win more than 6 rounds? That's all I'm asking. How did Isaac Cruz? Wait a minute. How did Isaac Cruz win 6 rounds? Okay, there's quote stats and scorecard. All right, stats and scorecard. All right, here we go. I got it here. Shout out to Sam Jackson once again. All right, hey man. All right, hold on, man. Trying to open through the browser. All right, fuck all this, man. know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get all this stuff right here. All right. I am signed in. I'm gonna go this thing. I said browser, you god damn it. I don't have no freaking Dropbox on his phone. Alright. Let's see. Cruz versus Roach score. Yo, what's going on, Ray? What's happening with you? Alright. Oh, of course this thing gotta be like super sideways. Alright, so oh my god. You know what? I'm gonna have to try to save this sucker. I'm gonna have to save this. All right, because I think the person, oh, they had it 113, 130. Yo, I'm seeing some crazy scorecards right here. I'm seeing some crazy scores. Okay. Let's see here, man, because I'm gonna pull it up here. What's going on, Ray? What's going on? So I'm gonna see because this thing got it like sideways or whatever it is. You know what? I'm gonna have to do some edits on this because I have to, switch it around here. All right. Yeah. Macho Man ready. All right. Yeah. All right. So, oh my God. Okay. What say? I say that because one judge had it 115, 110 in favor of Cruz. Yeah, he didn't win the fight. All right. So I'm gonna say this about the scorecards. In the first 4 rounds, take away the third because, of course, that's a 10-8. In the first 4 rounds, one judge had all of the 4 rounds for Isaac Cruz. 3 of the 4 rounds were in favor of Isaac Cruz from all 3 judges. And I said this earlier. I said the way that they probably had this thing going in favor of them is if they scored a lot of those early rounds for Isaac Cruz, which no, you can't. Like, that's why I'm like, you can't do that unless if you see that there's a clear advantage. There wasn't a clear advantage for Isaac Cruz in those early rounds outside of that one round where he scored the knockdown. Like, come on. So, and the judge, Chris Tejas, had scored at 115, 111 for Isaac Cruz. He scored the first 3 rounds for Cruz, for the first 5, and the last 4 rounds in favor of Isaac Cruz. So let me run this by again. So by the time it was round 6, he only had Lamont Roach winning 1 round. After round 8, he didn't have Lamont Roach winning 1 round. Okay. Let's see. Man, like, these scores are insane. Okay. Let me see something. Wait a minute. So, yeah, -1. Okay. So, yeah, that's crazy. You only have Lamont Roach, like I said, winning 6 rounds to 6. And they said that Isaac Cruz won the 12th round. All three judges had Isaac Cruz winning the last round. 2 of the 3 judges had Isaac Cruz winning the last 2 rounds. But that score by Chris Tejas, that's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. You can't tell me that you had Isaac Cruz winning 8 of those 12 rounds and all 4 of the last rounds 9 through 12. That's absolutely insane. I was gonna go back. Hold up. So yeah, I pulled up the thing with the scorecards. I'm gonna have to share that. On X. So let me go ahead on there. You follow on the X. at Boxing Source 2. Um, let's see, yeah, scorecards for Pitbull versus Roach. Like this is insane. Insane. Like I said, I mean, I don't know what to make of this, because you mean to tell me that watching live that you saw Pitbull Cruz winning the last 4 rounds? Come on. You know what I mean? Yeah, nasty work by the judges. Like I said, like yeah, that judge that scored it 8 rounds to 4 in favor of Isaac Cruz with the last 4 rounds, like every single round from round 9 to round 12 was scored in favor of Isaac Cruz by that judge that had it 8 rounds to 4. Like, come on, man. Like this is crazy. Like you can't tell me that Pitbull Cruz won that. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that he won 6 rounds. Can't tell me that. Where is the work from Esau Cruz that says that he won the majority of those rounds? You can't do that. Yeah, you could give him the knockdown round. Of course, you could give him the knockdown round. Like I would say he would be, if you want to have him ahead through 4 rounds, cool. But after round 5, like where did you see that he? You know what? I think I got it. I gotta go back to it, but you know what? Remember, there was like one round where he like landed something within like the last 30 seconds or the last 20 seconds or something like that, right? And then both of them were like scrapping and all that type of stuff. Like, if that was like within those last 4 rounds, you could probably say that, hey, one of these judges like took it. But you think you could really win a championship? You're not even watching the fight. He didn't use just one hand. Did you see him like work on the inside? Did you see him throw combinations? You're kind of ignoring a lot of the stuff that's going on. And yes, you can win a championship fight with one hand. Gary Russell Jr. did it. The only problem is they didn't score it in his favor. He had an injury, and he basically won against Mark Magsayo with one hand. The judges took it from him. Like, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. That's my thing, is like, listen, it's about controlling the pace of the fight. It's about making your opponent miss. It's about having a cleaner work. Roach had a cleaner work. It's not even close. Roach had a cleaner work. You can't tell me that Isaac Cruz had a better performance. You can't tell me that he was cleaner in those exchanges. He wasn't. Okay, here's my thing. You really think, okay, if you're gonna ask that question, I have one for you. Do you really think you can win a championship fight by missing punches completely and not even landing on any part of the body? Once again, do you think you can win a championship fight by missing punches to the point where you're completely missing? And I'll give it one even further. You just seen it in the fight before that between Osaki Foster and Stephen Fulton. Stephen Fulton was out of range. Stephen Fulton couldn't land. Osaki Foster dominated that. Here in this one, yeah, you're seeing them exchanges between Isaac Cruz and Lamont Roach Jr. Yes, you did see where Lamont Roach Jr. had his glove on the canvas after being off balance from a shot that was during an exchange. But the problem was, no, he was not. Come on, man. What are we doing here? Come on, man. Let me go to these stats. I need to pull up these stats again. All right. Where's that? All right. It is. I'm gonna go back and let's go stats. And let's see here. Okay. Overall stats. You had Lamont Roach Jr. landed 191 punches in comparison to Cruz's 159, with a connect percentage of 40.9%, and Isaac Cruz had a connect percentage of 29.2%. Jabs landed 49 for Roach, 27 for Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz with a connect rate of 16.7%. Lamont Roach Jr. at 27.8%. And Isaac Cruz was outlanded in power punches. Outlanded. Okay. Let's see. Where we have these things as far as like total punches. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. So Lamar Roach outlanded them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 of the 12 rounds. Let me run this by again. He outlanded them in round 2, round 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Outlanded them. Okay? So where did anyone see that Roach was busted up? Come on. Like, there was like, and here was the thing, right? Round 1, punches landed even. Round 4, punches rounded even. Isaac Cruz having one jab landed in round 4 and round 9, no jabs in round 2. Yeah, but here's the problem. You don't even need the thing with the stats. Like, you got to actually look at the fight. Like, there's no way that you would say that Isaac Cruz won more than 4 rounds. You can't. Like, I haven't, like, you're saying all of this stuff, but you haven't shown me where Isaac Cruz won the majority of the rounds in this fight and what he did in order to win the majority of the rounds in this fight. The thing with the stats is it actually kind of like backs up an argument if you feel like one person that really controlled the fight actually did. And you've seen that with Lamont Roach Jr. How is it that he's able to show that he could land before even, here was the thing with Isaac Cruz. I'll tell you this, right? Isaac Cruz. Here's Isaac Cruz, right? He's up and down, kind of up and down, but he's still linear. He's not moving side to side. He's right in front of you. So all you got to do is basically shoot around the guard, shoot, keep distance if you want, shoot, and if he comes in, you could land in a body shot. What did Isaac Cruz do in order to get to Lamont Roach Jr. outside of throwing hooks, wild hooks, and where he was like off balance or out of range or missing completely? You think that point deduction on Cruz was legit? It's Isaac Cruz. How is it any different than what happened in this fight against Giovanni Cabrera? You pretty much seen the same style from Isaac Cruz against Giovanni Cabrera that you've seen in this fight. Holding, headbutts, low or questionable blows, all of that stuff. That's Isaac Cruz. He's not somebody that like can actually polish up and do work. No, what you see is what you get with Isaac Cruz. And if you didn't see that he was landing no blows, if you didn't see that he was constantly holding over the course of those middle rounds, if you didn't see that he was wrestling, if you didn't see that he was leading with his head, I don't know what else to tell you on that. Like, there's no way, like I said, there's no way that you can score 6 rounds in favor of Isaac Cruz in this fight. Like, that fight was all Lamont Roach Jr. Basically, Lamont Roach Jr. Like, even if people were talking about, oh, well, you had Esau Cruz there in San Antonio, Texas, it was going to be a pro Esau Cruz crowd. You had people chanting, people, people. But midway through the fight, where was those chants at? Through like round 8, where were those chants at? Basically gone. Why? Because he really didn't have an answer for what Lamont Roach Jr. was doing, controlling distance where he needed to, and working him, being cleaner on the inside when he needed to. And there you go. So, listen. Again, I'll have to go back to the presser or whatnot. But having that be a majority draw, absolutely insane work. Absolutely insane work. Like I said, clearly he said he clearly won a close fight, but nah, no, he was not. Try again. Try again. Like you're really and you still haven't answered the question yet. What were the 6 rounds that Pitbull Cruz won? I want to know that. Like, what were the 6 rounds that Pitbull Cruz won? Like, I don't even understand that. You know what I mean? So, I'll just say this. They really screwed over. They really. Oh my God! Cap Quest in the building. What's happening? See, a bunch of low blows and a bunch of clinching by Esau Cruz again. I ain't lose any money on the fight because I ain't put money on the fight. Now, I should have found. I should have looked up how much it was for the draw though, because hey, you get money off the draw though. You feel me? You get money off the draw, but they had Roach as a favorite, and if you seen the fight, you seen why he was a favorite. Like, he was basically a better boxer, better fighter. Like, that's what it was. You know what I mean? Yeah, a bunch of low blows and a bunch of clinching. That's pretty much what you get with Esau Cruz. That's what you get, you know. But hey, again, I'm just waiting for later this week, or yeah, since it's officially like Sunday in the East Coast, I'm waiting for later this week because I gotta get words for this. I know people are gonna be talking with them right now. You know, be talking with them after the fight, but I'm waiting until they get back, and then I want to hear what they got to say about all this because they should have had a clean sweep. Like, no excuse, Jim should have had a clean sweep tonight. Jordan Roach won. Ben Johnson won. Lamont Roach Jr. should have won, but he took it from him. And again, the thing was, it's like with Jimmy Lennon Jr., right? He usually, when Jimmy Lennon Jr. does the decisions, he'll be like, well, fight fans, we go to the scorecards for a unanimous decision or a split decision or whatever, right? He didn't even say that before he read the scorecards. And I was like, oops, oh boy, this can't be good. And then when he went that first scorecard of 115, 111 in favor of Esau Cruz, I knew then. I was like, 115, 111 Cruz? What? I was like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Oh, listen. There's gonna be plenty of time to rewatch, but you gotta know, like, if you know styles and how things mesh up, that was a bad style matchup for Esau Cruz. It was a bad style matchup for Esau Cruz going into the fight. You know what I mean? Nah. Edge lost the fight in the first 8 rounds. Nah. I don't know what you're looking at from Pitbull Cruz. I don't. Like, again, you have one style with Pitbull Cruz. That's it. One. You know what I mean? Hey, Roach robbed twice in a row. That's gotta hurt. Yeah, yeah. Like you mean to tell me that you can't get a win over Tank Davis at the Barclays Center or Esau Cruz at the Frostbank Center for what you did? Nah, nah. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. You know what I mean? But that's what I had in references, man. Like I'm sorry, they took it from him. They took it from him. Like for some would say this is even worse than the tank fight. The tank fight was close. The tank fight was close. This one, no. No, 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 no. Oh no. All right. So that being said, right, you know what I mean? Hey, Larry Holmes, one of the greatest jabs in boxing. Hey, that's all you need. You right. You know what I mean? And Roach just kind of like controlled the majority of the fight with the left hook, lead left hook. That's it. But the judges there just didn't give him credit. I said the thing there in reference to, Foster and Fulton. Shout out to Osaki Foster. Great performance. Fulton just didn't have it. He just didn't have it at all. There. Lara versus yeah. Janet Beck, you mother you you Janet Beck, you hey, dog, we should have had a unification in the middleweight division, but Janet Beck, you fucked it up. You mother ooh. And we had to go through that stuff with Erislandy Lara and goddamn motherfucker oh my god, Johan Gonzalez. Yo, that was insane, bro. Like, see, this is why they moved it from being a co-feature to being with. Listen, that should have been in the prelims for as bad as that was. Like, oh my god, yo, come on. See, you gotta have like a certain style with Erislandy Lara, and yeah, it might work out. But other than that, that was just terrible. That was terrible, terrible, terrible. That was terrible and really bad. Okay, terrible and really bad. Okay, that was just cringe. That was cringe. Hey, that fights like that are why. Like I would be glad. I'm glad that I wouldn't be out there for something like that. That was just nah. No, just couldn't do it. Okay. Um, the Mosley versus Ramos fight, pretty good fight. Good fight. Shout out to Jesus Ramos. Um, getting the decision win. The thing with Mosley Jr. was like he didn't have much other than the jab. Outside of that, really didn't have much behind his punches or behind his power punches. Jesus Ramos did, and a lot of those power shots like really kind of tagged Shane Mosley Jr. So that was the key for that one. And Frank Martin with the candidate for knockout of the year. That's probably gonna be either number one or number two for knockout of the year. I don't know if it's gonna be number one because what we saw over in Japan earlier this year, but it's a strong candidate. Oh man. Who do you want to see Frank Martin fight next? He did say that he would have wanted the winner of this fight, but well, we didn't have a winner in the main event. He acquired the WBA Continental Americas Super Lightweight title. Speaking of all of these belts, WBA Continental Americas Super Lightweight title. He did also mention that he would like to step in the ring with IBF World Champion Richard Higgins. That could be a good fight, depending on how things work out. But for me, I think they would probably have Frank Martin in another bout at 140 before he goes after any of the world champions that are out there. I mean, but we already see, what is going on. We already got the announcement there for Teal versus Shakur. We got to see what's up with Gary Antoine Russell if he still has to, have that mandatory bout, which I think should happen within like January or February. And we talked about the thing there with Tio. And then you got the whole and that's the other thing too with the WBC, right? With this main event. This was for the WBC interim super lightweight title. You had the whole thing going on with Super and Matias, and the WBC ruled that he's kind of not guilty or whatever it is, and they're still looking to have this fight between Super and Matias and Dalton Smith over in Brooklyn. And it's supposed to be what, in a month? Oh my God, yo. So I don't know. Right now it's up in the air as far as like who I would say could be the opponent for Frank Martin. And I'd have to see like what how things would shape up. What is it? Like it's the beginning of the month too, and with him being like the WBA Continental America's champion, he's gonna enter in the WBA rankings at the end of this month because that's when the WBA releases their rankings. So I don't know if he's going to be like at number 8 or number 10 or number 6 or whatever. But we're going to see Frank Martin enter the rankings in the WBA for super lightweight at the end of this month. Um, you do well. Actually, it might be earlier because they do have their convention in Orlando in a couple of weeks. So maybe they'll release their rankings a little bit earlier while they have the WBA convention in Orlando, Florida. Uh, so that could be the whole situation there for Frank Martin. But yeah, that's like mostly what I got here so far, as far as like the card and like I said with the main event, that was just crazy work, absolutely crazy work. All right, I'm going to talk about a little more on the Boxing Source podcast on in the evening, scheduled for 7:30. If it's later than that, we'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, like when fights are done, depending on the result, you be amped up. So I'm probably gonna be up until like 3:30 or 4 a.m. I won't be surprised if I'm still up at like 4 a.m. With still thinking about what happened in this fight. All right. So I'll tell you this. Get back with us here for the Boxing Source podcast live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right. And till next time, I'll catch you later. Peace out.